What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. My ears have been lowered. Huh? Oh, come on with the air already. Come on now. Don't do it to me, YouTube. Don't do it. Don't do it. Welcome to 5-inch Friday. We're going to be fixing the demolished... Hey, chat, let me know if you guys can see me. Because I got no dropped frames. Denzel the Terrible says looking sharp, so I think you guys can see me. We're gonna be fixing the glide tonight that got demolished in the footage that you're seeing there at the beginning. It's filmed vertical for Instagram. I've got a million 16:9 like regular flight days of footage for YouTube. If I'm gonna go out and fly now, I might as well shoot vertical. Instagram is where I do most of my marketing or whatever, and so yeah, it's nice to film something specifically for that. And the process of taking regular wide footage and then cropping it vertically, it just looks terrible. It just looks absolutely awful. So yeah, you got to film it You gotta film it vertically in order for it to look good. Let me throw some fresh batteries in this little LED lamp. Jesus. And the right side of my face here will actually have a little bit of light on it, so it doesn't look quite so dramatic. What's up, chat? How is everybody? Who's in chat? 16-bit FPV was first, maybe. Dead Chicken FPV was next. J Drones, Bulldog FPV, Chopper, Harbles is in the house. Kiz Bartlett, Northern Tier, Frank Nicholas, Ryan, One Vision Arrow, IDV, Kenny Kobe, lots of people here tonight. Denzel the Terrible, R. Dodd, Kenny Kobe again, Jesse Garcia, Bulldog again, Matty O, Eat Your Veg, RPV, what? Eat Your Veg, FPV, that's a fun name. With a $10 super chat, he says, what up, Ciotti and all? I never get to catch these live, but it's 12 a.m. in the UK here, and I'm building a fresh one to leave at 5:30 a.m. for Drone Fest. Thanks in advance for company this morning. Thanks for joining me, Eat Your Veg. Hey, we will be reading, the new thing around here is, on every live stream, I go to the previous live stream and I read all the comments. So if you can't watch these live, but you still want to be involved, now you can do that. As soon as I get caught up on chat, we're going to do that. We're going to hop into 2 days ago's live stream, and we're going to read the comments and talk about them. So, yeah, if you're watching this not live, do not fret. You can still be involved. Just leave a comment. And, yeah, that works for everything. YouTube likes that. I like that. More stuff to talk about. You guys like it because you get to be involved. You know? So let's keep that going. I think I saw a lot of comments on the last live stream, so I think people are finally starting to kind of catch on. So let's keep it going. Is that not quite enough? A little bit more. There, that should be good. Yeah, that's a little bit better. That defines the right side of my face a little bit. Yeah, that's looking good. Thanks again, Eat Your Veg, for the 10 pounds. Pedro Tomei, Jesse Garcia, Ardod, Matty O again. Alec Dvornik is in the house. Aircon, J Drone, CMYK, Ed K, Restyle, J Drones again. Grizz FPV is here. Cool Coyote as well. Paul McDonald. I think I'm caught up. Let's hop into the most recent live stream. That would be Whoop Wednesday. We did a whole bunch of whooping. We hit some nasty power loops, and it was very exciting. It was a really fun live stream on Wednesday. I spent a ton of time today sanding the wall over there, which was quite the mess. And so this entire room is covered in a thin mist of spackle and old paint and whatnot. On Wednesday's stream, Apache Smokewoods and Sniper commented, "What up, collective? The lighting is starting to get really cool. Love to fly with you someday. Now watching the Wednesday stream, fixing T-Motor 11038000's great flying, making the impossible loop possible." Thank you, Apache. What fixing T-Motor 11038000? Swapping the bells, maybe? Tell us more. Harbles FPV says, the FPV tour was beyond fun for a dork like me. Well worth it for an easy, fun weekend. So what Harbles is talking about is over on Fiverr. Hey, this is my full-time job. If you want to support me and see these live streams continue, I need your help. I need everybody's help. Everybody do a little bit of something, and we can keep going with this. Best way to help me is to head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Join my Patreon. It's only a few dollars a month, like 10 cents a day. Click some affiliate links every time you're doing an Amazon order or FPVCrate, FPV Cycle, Get FPV. Gotta stop saying FPVCrate. They shut their website down. Bunch of other affiliate links there. Etsy store, Teespring page for some swag, and then there's a Fiverr page. On the Fiverr page are a couple of different things where you can work directly with me, one-on-one. Those three things are build planning, so you stop buying the wrong parts that either fly like shit or catch on fire or don't work together. Tuning, so that I can both teach you how to tune and get your rigs tuned up, and flight instructions so that you can fly a little bit better. if I were going to continue to use Fiverr, I would now be adding a fourth thing, but we're just going to do this. Just message me, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. CiottiFPV gives you a tour of Atlanta. If you've got some favorite spots, I know where they are, and we can hit them. If you just want to see my favorite spots, we can do that too. You come on down for a weekend. I'm not going to put you up here. You got to get a hotel, but yeah, we're going to meet up Saturday. We're going to meet up Sunday for like 3, 4, 5 hours, however much time you want to spend flying. And we're going to just tour Atlanta and fly either my favorite spots or your favorite spots that you've seen in, you know, Steel, Stingy videos, stuff like that. And yeah, you'll get to fly all the most epic spots in the country, arguably. So yeah, if you want to do something like that, it's gonna be it ain't gonna be cheap because it's a whole bunch of my time to do it. But yeah, it's it's not really something that that anybody else is offering. So hit me up and we'll figure it out. Harbles came down to help me out with a ton of electrical work here in the basement, and that was my chance to like kind of practice this thing, and he had a blast, I had a blast. It was super awesome. So it's not going to be a big group. It's going to be like 2 or 3 of us, and that's it. You know, a great way to burn spots is to sit there and fly for 6 to 8 hours at a time with 20 plus people. I ain't doing that. I'm not burning any spots here in Atlanta. That's just the way that it is. So yeah, a couple of people. If security even remotely starts to approach us, we're out. We're not going to run away, but we're going to say, hey, we're gone. Thanks. That's just the way it is. That's the way it should always be. Eat Your Veg FPV says, I never get to watch your streams live. I'm in the UK, but each one makes my workday go a little bit better. Desktop camera is looking great now, but you need more fill on the right side of your gangly face. It's really dark. Yeah, I'm working on it. This lighting setup is super temporary. I gotta move a bunch of stuff around. These lights might actually come over here. Yeah, I'm focused on like the big things in the basement, the walls, the furniture, the ceiling tiles. What the hell's going on with that ceiling tile? What is all over that ceiling tile? What the hell is that? Yeah, focused on all the big things first. Once they're all done, then we can kind of get the desk in the exact right spot. I think the desk is going to stay here. But yeah, I'll get organized. I'll start moving lights around and whatnot. But for right now, this kind of gets us there. And as I, I'm trying to change like one thing at a time. And as I do that, we can sort of get things dialed in. Speaking of, yeah, this guy went all the way dead. Maybe I can gotta get that guy plugged in. Maybe this has a little bit of juice left, perhaps. It does. Look at that. So we'll just throw this up for the time being, and that'll kick some. Man, that does not do much. Let's get a little bit more anger from it. There we go. That should start to. There we go. Yeah, that's starting to throw some light up there. Very cool. It's just how it goes. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange like all these beautiful people have done here, even if it's inside of a URL. But yeah, if you type CiottiFPV or at CiottiFPV, it'll light up an orange for me and me alone. You can do that with each other too. If there's somebody in chat whose attention you want to get, type their name, spell it right, put the spaces in the right spots, and you'll be good to go. Another huge shout out to McConnell Studios for this beautiful laser etched hydro flask that he just sent me as a housewarming present, which is just super awesome, and I've been drinking out of constantly. It tastes extra good when it's laser etched. 16-bit FPV says, can you go over your FPV live stream setup? I'm trying to decide on a viewing setup for other people to watch. I don't know if I want a monitor or USB dongle for my phone. You almost certainly want a monitor. One of the challenges with live streaming is that you need to have the chat up, and the chat is going to take a big chunk of the screen. You need to have the OBS window up, and that's going to take a big chunk of the screen. And then, you're probably going to have a browser window up, and God knows what else. live streaming on a single monitor like I am right now, because I need another Apple converter box thing for this other monitor, is really, really difficult. It's totally doable. I've been streaming with just one monitor for the last few months, but it's a total pain in the ass. So realistically, you want 2 monitors. I can't possibly imagine doing it on a phone. The setup is pretty kind of specific to each person. OBS is going to take all of your inputs, your microphone, your cameras, and then, yeah, it's going to combine it all together. You're going to set your levels. You can put fancy stuff like this and this. That's just a matter of, like, kind of learning OBS. Yeah, it's in some ways it's pretty simple. The difficult bit is how, like, on a Mac at least, you got to have like a program running to send your desktop audio into OBS. My microphone is kind of old, and I have to push just the right sequence of buttons on it. Whatever camera that you're running might have another separate set of piece of software that's running. In my case, it's an old ass Canon DSLR, so it requires a specific setup. OBS can be a little bit challenging just because it's an open source program that's trying to do a lot of different stuff. And then it's about like good mic placement and getting some light under yourself. I'm lucky enough to have gone to college for TV radio. So I learned about all these things. I learned about lighting, and then I shot still photography for about 15 years and really dove into lighting pretty deep. And then started doing gaffer work on video sets, running lights and whatnot. Microphone setup is pretty simple. At some point, I'll probably get a boom mic to get the mic a little closer to my big stupid mouth. But for right now, I just have the mic hanging out up here. Let me actually see how far I can creep it in. Yeah, there we go. That's about as far as I can get that in. That's what she said. So yeah, that's about it. There's nothing super magical about it. It's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of screwing up and not having the audio on the second scene when you go like this, and now all of a sudden there's no audio. I do that pretty constantly. You can learn everything you need to know on YouTube. Tons of really good live streamers that have like setup guides and whatnot. But yeah, to be honest, it's mainly about just doing it. Don't get hung up on like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what kind of lighting I need or microphone I need or any of that stuff. Just do it. It's going to be a train wreck a couple of times. Everybody expects that. It's not going to be a train wreck and everybody's going to go, oh, I can't deal with this, and they're all going to unsubscribe. That's just not what happens. At first, you don't have many people watching anyway, so if you lose one, it's totally fine. You just have to do it. Like with many things in life. So yeah, just get it set up to the best you can. Make a private stream, tell a couple of your buddies or whatever to check it out and let you know what they think, and then dial it in and just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You got to do it 20, 30, 40, 50 times before it becomes even remotely smooth. I've done 200-300 streams and I still screw up all the time. There's just a lot. There's a lot that goes into it, and there's no like secret trick. It's just all about doing it and learning as you go. And that's kind of what everybody has sort of done. So yeah, jump on board the pain train that is live streaming. Kiz Bartlett says, hey, Benedict Ganglebatch. Danzilla the Terrible says, come on down, you're the next contestant on The Price is Right. There's Eat Your Veggies super chat. Thanks again, homie. CMYK says, yo, CiottiFPV and Collective. Ed K says, CiottiFPV and Collective, happy Friday. GrizzFPV says, everybody hit that like button. Thank you, brother. Cool Coyote says, the studio's looking good. Thank you, homie. If you guys want a miniature glide frame, Cool Coyote has designed and cut them. Hit him up on my Discord channel. You can get to my Discord channel over on CiottiFPV.com. If you want full access to the Discord channel, which is going to give you access to the Stick and Dick End Fund, you got to join my Patreon for $3 whole a month. That's 10 cents a day. Speaking of, I saw a couple of folks who joined. And when you do that, you get a little shout out on the live stream. Brandon Pyle, I think that's how it's pronounced, P-H-Y-L-E, Left Step, jumped onto the Patreon. Welcome to the collective, Brandon. Who else? We've got a little bit of Bradley. I'm not going to ruin your last name, Bradley. Bradley jumped onto the Patreon, and he's on the 5-inch tier, which is pretty awesome. Welcome, Bradley. And we've also got Andrew Staub getting in on some giveaways. Welcome, all you new folks. Thank you for joining. It really is amazing. The Patreon is very literally like what keeps this live stream going and keeps me in the business of making FPV content for you folks. So yeah, it really means a lot that you guys are joining it. I try to give you as much as I possibly can. There's a ton of technical articles over there. There are giveaways, 3 giveaways every other Monday. This Monday is a giveaway stream, so those of you that just joined, you joined at a great time. You're gonna get in on these giveaways this coming Monday. And man, everywhere I put my hands down, I get dust all over them. I've been sanding with the shop vac. I have a Milwaukee battery powered shop vac, and I didn't realize that the filter in there had become completely clogged. So I did like the entire top half of this like 20-foot wide wall with basically no suction. I was wondering why like the room was starting to get kind of cloudy. I was wearing a KN95 mask, so I wasn't worried about breathing it in, but yeah, I took the shop vac outside and looked at the filter, and it was just all junked up. Cleaned it out, did the rest of the wall, and it was actually working well. So literally every single flat surface in this entire room is covered in drywall dust right now. But you know, with all the work that's been going on down here, that's kind of expected. So it sort of is what it is. But coming together, a lot of work, but well worth it. And yeah, it's starting to look really good in here. Paul McDonald says, look at that slick, gangly man. Nice haircut. Thank you, Paul. Eat Your Veg says, ignore my comment on your lessons too late. This is the first time watching on my laptop. Unless you've changed stuff, my phone must be screwed because this looks dandy. Yeah, no, you're right. It is a little bit. I do need a little bit more fill. So that when I'm not gonna start talking lighting with you guys, but this side of my face needs a little bit of fill light. I can sort of get away with it because so like when you light your face, if you're gonna light one side of your face and leave the other side of your face kind of dark like this is right now, what you really want to do is at least be able to show the outline. You don't just want like this side of your face to be dark and then the background to be dark too, because then it just looks like this side of your face is just floating in space, and that's just not right. You need to at least, it's called defining the other side of the object. And I'm kind of doing that with this wall back here, but it is kind of dark. Like if this wall was a little bit brighter, it would actually look a little bit better. I'm just struggling to hit this with enough light with the current placement of these lights, which I'll get dialed in sooner than later. But yeah, so that's what I'm kind of doing with this little battery powered light, as you can see, just putting enough fill on this side of my face where it's not just completely darkened out. This is a AA powered little tiny light, little tiny video light here though, and if I crank it up any higher, it'll kill the batteries before the end of the live stream. So a little bit limited, but again, this is all super temporary. It's a complete mess down here. Nothing's in the right spot. It's gonna get dialed in soon. 16-bit FPV says, I love building during your live streams. You and a bunch of other people, 16-bit. I love that. I love that, you know, building kind of sucks, and it's hard to kind of force yourself to do it, and it makes me feel good that a lot of you guys like to build while you're watching, because I feel like I'm, you know, helping you do the thing that kind of sucks in the hobby that you have to do so that you can do the thing that's fun in the hobby, which is flying. So I love to hear that. Michael D says, happy Friday, CiottiFPV and Collective. Metal Dirtskins, YouTube should do the thing. What do you, why? Ducks? Metal Dirtskins says, I might take you up on that someday, but around here I have a bad track record of getting kicked out of or ruining spots. I won't let that happen. Don't you worry about that, Metal Dirtskin. Your Reg says fresh hair, by the way, man. Thank you, dude. June Logo says, I got the AT&T representative hooked on FPV crack. Nice. I'm always like, I'm always very tentative about introducing people to FPV and being like, yo, you got to do it because it's hard, and an awful lot of people quit, and like you're probably gonna get in. You're probably going to be like $1,000 in before you quit, and you're not going to get that money out of it. So I typically don't. I typically actually don't tell people to get into it. I usually kind of tell people like, hey, it's obnoxious and not many people survive, and you got to be super stubborn. And if they like look at me and are like, oh, that's me, I'm like, okay, let's talk. But like, I'm always very clear about like, yo, you got to be incredibly stubborn. It's interesting. Like on one hand, yeah, it's absolute magic, but like the turnover is wild. So I feel bad when somebody spends a bunch of money and then ends up quitting. And that just comes from like having told a whole bunch of people about it and having them go through that. And yeah, it feels weird for me to be the one that gets them into it. And then yeah, it's just like way too much for them. So I'm always pretty careful about being like, hey, are you the most stubborn person on earth? No, you ain't gonna survive. Yes, you got a chance. No One FPV says evening. Athix FPV says haircut. You got it. Robert Garcelon says change your HVAC filters once the drywall sanding is done. So at the moment, there is no HVAC filter because there is no HVAC system. This is now week number 2 of our main HVAC system being down, which also means no air conditioning. So, yeah, it's been a little bit of a nightmare, if I'm honest. I'm having a really, really, really hard time sleeping because it's 80 degrees in the house. P. Richard Scott was cool enough to bring a little in-window air conditioner, which I have down here in the basement to dry it out and to just keep it from being completely insane. Since I work down here, right? Which is awesome, but that's what you hear in the background. Without that thing cranking, the noise floor here is like really low. The acoustics in this room are pretty rad. But yeah, I actually did just order a whole big box of HVAC filters for eventually when these fuckers get the fan in stock and bring it. Basically, what I found out is going on is the folks that sold us this house, the HVAC system and the air conditioning system and everything is very old. It's 15 years old. So we were like, yo, like that shit's gonna blow up any day now. So they got us this home warranty from a company called 210. Well, this company 210, they're not the worst, but they're not the best either. So the way it works is like I put a thing into their website and then they get in touch with a local HVAC shop and have them come out. So that process takes a little bit longer than just calling direct, right? And then they come out and they figure out what's going on, and then they go back and then they need to talk to 210 about what parts are needed, and then 210 takes a bunch of time to find those parts as cheap as possible and have them sent to the local place, and then the local place gets them and then they can schedule and come back out. So yeah, I am stuck in the middle of that process. You know, go figure. You get one of these home warranties where you pay whatever, $80 a month or whatever it is, that'll cover thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of shit, right? Well, go figure, no free lunches. It takes forever. Like going through the home warranty company, it's going to take longer because you're paying less money, right? It's sort of a one-to-one there. So yeah, I mean, it's great if the God knows what the fan in the damn thing is going to cost, but I'm sure it's not $80. What Maggie and I are really hoping is that the entire HVAC system will explode, because then it'll really the 210 shit will really pay for itself. Although we didn't pay for it this year, but once this one runs out, I actually talked to the plumber that came out. He recommended this other company that's apparently way better. And he said 210 is okay, but this other company is much better because this other company allows whatever the local place that comes out to just buy the replacement parts and invoice them. 210 is trying to save as much money as possible, so they're gonna, you know, bid it out and try to find it cheaper and whatnot. But yeah, so that's kind of the situation that I'm stuck in. Yeah, it'll get fixed at some point. And it'll be great, and there'll be air conditioning again, and I can give this in-window unit back to Patrick, and it'll sound better down here, and by that time I'm sure I'll be done with this wall, and that wall, and that wall, and the fireplace, and Lord only knows what else. Although I think that's kind of it. Harble's knocked out all the electrical stuff. I've got outlets all over the place. And then the walls will be done. I've been replacing ceiling tiles. They're looking pretty good, other than this one that's got furry shit all over it, which is very weird. And then the exterminators keep coming. And there's carpeting. That's about it. This room is close, man. It is close. This wall is going to be a bastard. This wall is going to be a bastard. But that is the biggest bastard wall because it's orange. So I had to go absolutely ballistic. And there were a ton of holes in it. Ken patched like 40, 50 some holes. And then, yeah, I'm just going ballistic sanding it to try to get it somewhat flattened out. And I'm hoping to get the rest of the sanding done tonight, maybe after the stream. And then throw some painter's white on it, and that incredibly offensive wall will be done. And then I can drag my feet on these other two walls that are just like a I don't know, they're not painter's white, but they're kind of like an off-white, like an eggshell white or some shit. Although eggshell is the finish, but yeah. Good call, Robert Garcelone. I cannot wait to have a functioning HVAC system again. And it will be getting a new filter. The one of the reasons that I think the fan shit the bed on this is the previous owner. I don't think he ever changed the filter. It had like a ½ inch layer of dust on the filter, top to bottom. You couldn't even see the little accordion pattern in the filter because so much shit had piled up on top of it. I should have checked that. That should have been the first thing that I checked, but there were a million other things, and I just wasn't thinking about it. You know, the damage was probably done, though, right? Because it's obviously not been changed in literally years. So if I had changed it, the fan probably wouldn't have gone, but maybe the fan would have gone one day after the home warranty had expired or whatever. So weirdly maybe glad that it did blow up when it did, so that we could get it fixed for. It's basically $100, $100 for per thing that you put in. So yeah. Fractal Eyes FPV says, is there a better camera you recommend for the Mobula 6? I was considering the Caddx Ant-Lite Nano, but not sure if it's worthwhile. I actually think that the Mobula 6 ELRS camera is the best. It's the Runcam Nano 3? Nano Lite 3, maybe? Yeah, I think it's the best one because the biggest thing with a tiny whoop is weight, and it's the lightest, and then it just looks good, and it doesn't have crazy fisheye. And I find that when I fly those rigs with that camera, I literally fly better. I do have a rig with the Caddx Ant Lite, and it's nano, and it's fine. But yeah, it's significantly heavier than the Runcam, and it doesn't seem like it's any better to me. So yeah, I think that the Mobula 6 ELRS has the best camera available for tiny whoops. Where we at? YouTube did the thing, of course. Michael D says, CiottiFPV got a haircut, looking good. Thank you, dude. No one FPV says evening. Oh wait, no, I'm back. I'm too far back. Hold on. Denzel the Terrible says it's called Rembrandt lighting, CiottiFPV, and you want a faint triangle of light under your right eye as well. Yeah, I'm sort of a fan of Rembrandt lighting. It actually has a couple of different names on the West Coast. They actually have a different name for it. I forget what it was. I worked with a director of photography from California, and she had a completely different name for it. I wish I could remember what it is, but yeah, this isn't quite Rembrandt lighting. I'm a little bit more off-axis than a traditional sort of Rembrandt lighting setup. If I brought these over a little bit like this, it would throw the triangle over here. But yeah, it's not doing that. Yeah, I like a little bit more of a kind of extreme setup of light. Just sort of personal preference. I'm not going to dive into. Don't get me started on lighting. This is. But yeah, it's nice to know that there's other people that understand what lighting is, Dan. I like that. Alec Dvornik says, CiottiFPV and friends, I'm building my 7-inch now myself. Very cool, Alec. What's the setup? Tell the chat. Tom says, I have a lot of analog stuff. I'm from the EU. Want to give it free? What? Want to give it free? Tom's, tell me more. I'm not sure what that means. Jonathan Lewis says, how do you get clean analog video? Good antenna placement, good antenna. True RC makes the best antennas, and they're not transphobic douchebags like the other big antenna company. Good antenna placement is basically getting the antenna up as high and diagonally back as you can so that it gets clear of the battery, right? You got a big battery here, so you don't want the antenna tucked in below the battery. You also don't want the head of the antenna down in here where it's just got carbon fiber everywhere. So you want your antenna up like this as high as you can, and typically at a 45-degree angle because we fly at a 30-35 degree angle. And then good set of antennas on your goggles. Try to get your top antenna up above your head, so that if you fly behind yourself, the head of the antenna is clear. Your body is filled with water. Water does a great job at not letting RF pass through it. So yeah, get your antenna up above the top of your head. Again, put a good antenna on your goggles. Use a good module. The Rapid Fire is pretty roundly considered to be the absolute best one. Yes, it's expensive, but hey, you asked. Patch antenna is also a really good idea in my opinion, but with a patch antenna, you're going to have to turn your head. So you're going to use your ears to listen for where the quad is. And if the quad is off to the right, you're going to turn your head to the right, and you're going to point your patch antenna at the quad. Your CP antenna is going to cover you 360, but the patch antenna is going to do a better job. So you're going to try to rotate your head with the quad as you fly around. The other incredibly important thing is to not do this, which every single person in their first couple of years of flying does. All right, I'm going to start flying now. Great. And I'm flying, and I'm flying around, and I'm flying around, and I'm flying around. Man, why does my video suck? This is really weird. My video sucks so bad. I don't understand why my video sucks so bad. This is really weird. My video is so awful. I don't understand why my video is so bad. It's so weird that my video is so bad. I don't get it. I don't get why my video is so fucking bad. My head is inside of my own anus. Why is my video so bad? Or this one. I'm flying. Man, my video is getting so bad again. God, I don't understand why. I can't talk when I bend back like that. Yeah. There's a null. Even so, obviously, if you do that, your patch antenna is completely worthless. But CP antennas have a null. Like, yes, they're pretty good. They're pretty good being 360 degrees. But there is what's called a null on the very top and on the very bottom. So when your goggles are like this and flat, that null is pointing straight up, so as long as you're not flying directly above yourself, you're fine. And as long as you're not flying below yourself, in between your legs, you're going to be totally fine. But as soon as you do this, you're pointing that null straight forward. So every time you cross forward in front of yourself, you're going to get the worst possible video. Or when you go behind yourself, it's going to be even worse because your head is here and your body is here. And your body is going to block all the... So it's 99% of good, clean video is antenna placement. And antenna placement does not just refer to the quad. You can make a really good argument for your head being the most important thing. Is your head straight and level, and are you pointing your patch antenna at the quad if you're not flying straight out in front of yourself, if you're flying off to the side? So yeah, there you go. That's how you get clean analog video. VTX also does matter. There are VTXs out there that are known to be bad. TBS VTXs are good when you first buy them, and then they will slowly degrade every single time you use them. I do not recommend them. The Immersion RC Tramp has been my favorite VTX forever. It lasts a long, long time. It does not do that thing that the TBS VTXs do. They're no longer making it, unfortunately. The Rush VTXs are currently, they certainly seem to be the best option at the moment in terms of having a VTX that's actually going to last, and that every single time you plug it in, it's not going to work a little bit worse than the last time that you plugged it in. So yeah, if you're on a TBS VTX that you've run 50, 100 batteries on, that could be your problem. They do not seem to last very long at all, in my and many others' experience. So yeah, switch over to Rush, switch over to Immersion RC Tramps if you can find them, and yeah, there you go. That's how you get clean analog video. Great question, Jonathan. No One FPV says, I've been in the hobby for 3 months, built 5 drones now, have had a blast and want to build more. Do I count as one of the stubborn? 3 months is nowhere near enough time, to be honest. No one. Most people will quit at least 2 or 3 times over their first year. The first year is where it gets really frustrating. If you have 5 rigs, though, you're probably fine. Most people that quit will have like 1 or 2 rigs, and then they'll break them, and then they'll wait for parts. And this cycle of like waiting for parts and breaking rigs and not being able to fly is one of the things that is just like, fuck this, I give up. So yeah, throwing a bunch of money at the hobby and having like 4 or 5 built rigs, that's going to help out a ton. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're okay, no one. But fair warning, if you ever get super pissed off and you go to bed like, I'm over it, I'm done, I'm gonna wake up and sell all my shit on eBay, welcome. We pretty much all have. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk you out of it because it is frustrating forever, but if you're stubborn enough, you can, arguably it's worth it. Kenny Kobe says, how many packs is efficient for touring Atlanta? It depends. It depends on how many spots. I try to fly like 1 or 2 or 3 batteries per spot and then get the hell out. So yeah, Ken and I hit like 3 spots per day, and so we flew like 8 or 9 batteries each. If you want to come down here and hit 5 or 6 spots, maybe it's gonna be more. But it starts taking a long time, right? Because you're driving in between spots and like you're talking and bullshitting, and sometimes you're 2 up, sometimes you're not. So yeah, I would say like 8 to 10 batteries is a really good number. But if it's more, it's more. That's totally fine. Reed in the Wind is in the house. What's up, homie? He says, "What's up, dude? What's up, collective? It's been weeks since I caught a stream. New studio's looking good, my friend. Thank you, man. I've missed a lot of streams, Reed. So you haven't missed a ton. Just yeah, getting moved in and getting some of the really big stuff kind of figured out here, has just really had a hell of an impact on me being able to stream 4 or 5 times a week. But luckily, the people that hang out and chat waited for me, and there was not like a mass exodus of patrons, which was really cool. I really appreciate that from all you guys for kind of bearing with me while I'm getting everything set up here. I swear to God it'll be worth it in the end, because this studio is cooler looking. We can do more flying here. I can fly in the backyard. I can fly in the front yard. I'm going to be running an SMA extension cable outside the house so that I'll be able to live stream like flying outside during the day streams. And then this spot is way more fun to fly than my apartment ever was, which you can check out 2 days ago's live stream. That was just an absolute blast. More whoop gates are going to be coming for just more crazy shit upstairs with that wild 20-ish foot high ceiling. And yeah, faster computer, more I can run the Sims again, so we can get back into our Sim Sunday streams, which we did this last Sunday and maybe even the Sunday before, I forget. So yeah, man, lots of good stuff going on. And to be super honest, I'm much happier of a human being living here, and I've been told over and over and over again from you guys that like when I'm in a good place and when I'm in a good mood, those are the live streams that you guys like the most. Makes sense, right? Like yeah, it's funny like once or twice to watch somebody that's in a shitty place and they're cursing and pissed off, but that gets old pretty fast. So yeah, living in a beautiful house with 3 amazing human beings, I'm just in a really good place, and I'm really lucky, and yeah, away we go. Kenny Kobe says, okay, I'm live now. I tried catching up with Fast Forward. How much is a weekend without the hotel, and how many batteries is efficient for the weekends? Message me, Kenny, and we'll get all that figured out. I haven't oh, the ceiling light died. Yeah, oh well. Yeah, I haven't really super thought about it. One of the things that's going to be a little bit difficult is just kind of scheduling, because weekends I tend to have cinematic gigs, but it's been a little bit slow lately, probably because I'm not doing much marketing over on Instagram. But yeah, it's going to be a one-to-one thing, because I know some people are going to be able to come for one day, some people are going to be able to come for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. So yeah, it's going to be a totally customized sort of thing. And I also want to get an idea from you guys, like if I'm asking too much, right? Like if I say it's $1,000 for Saturday and Sunday, and 4 people in a row and are like, ah, it's insane. I'm like, all right, well, I got to figure out a way to make it less. So yeah, message me and we'll work it out. And yeah, at some point I'll hopefully have like a blanket number, but I don't want to just set a number and have it be too much for you guys or too little for me or whatever. So yeah, let me know. Mutterson says that ceiling light on the right shoulder just died. Lord Henrik says, what would you say is wrong if your ESC initializes but no last 2 beeps and wouldn't connect to Betaflight? No but VTX LED receiver all on 5-volt rails power up. Great question, Lord Henriks. So basically, the first 3 beeps, doo-doo-doo, that is your ESC saying, hey, I'm here, I'm working. I've got power from the battery, I've got motors hooked up to me, because that's what is actually making the beeps. And yeah, all is well, hopefully, on the ESC side. The ESC could still be blown up. One of the channels could totally be blown up. But for the most part, if you get the first 3 beeps, the ESC is somewhat okay. The 4th and 5th beeps are the flight controller saying, hey, I can talk successfully to the ESC. So there's a bunch of things that can be wrong. The simplest possible thing is that the motor 1, 2, 3, and 4 wires going from the ESC to the flight controller are either cut or not plugged in all the way, or they're just not making proper contact between the two. Another problem could be you have bidirectional, RPM filtering turned on the flight controller, but you don't have it. You don't have a version. You don't have a version of the ESC firmware that accepts or understands what that RPM filtering is. It could also be that your protocol is not set. You know, like DShot 600 is that little field could be set to disabled. That could cause the problem. What else could cause that problem? It could be a resource issue in the CLI. Your motor resources could be incorrectly set. The thing that you want to try to figure out is, when did it start? Did it start after you piled your rig into a tree 80 miles an hour? Did it start when you changed your flight controller? Did it start when you changed your ESC? Did it start when there was a huge explosion spark that came out of your ESC because you plugged the battery in backwards? You know, whenever that behavior begun, whatever happened right before that is what caused it. So that's what you want to figure out. What happened right before you stopped getting the 4th and 5th beeps? That's going to be the biggest clue as to what the hell caused it. And that, you know, that right there is the most important part of troubleshooting everything in FPV. Like, if you're having any problem, what happened right before that problem started? Because 99% of the time, that's what caused it, right? Like, typically problems don't just start out of completely nowhere. Sometimes they do, but it's pretty rare. It's almost always something happened to cause the problem. You slammed it into something really hard. Yeah, any number of different things. So that's what you want to try to figure out. And that's going to be the most efficient way of you to kind of troubleshoot. YouTube did the thing. I gotta scroll back up. The last part of your question, VTX LED receiver, all on the 5-volt rails power up. All that means is that the VBAT wires from your ESC to your flight controller are working. So some of your plug header is working to be able to send VBAT up to your flight controller, and then the flight controller takes that VBAT in, puts it into the 5-volt BEC, and distributes that to all of your accessories that are plugged in. Veritas Weasel says, I see a DJI FPV Avata with 18 minutes flight time in your future. Give in to the dark side. I really doubt it. I mean, I just switched over to the existing DJI stuff. There still is no way to get a clean output from the V3 stuff, which I would need for the live flying events. And also the VTXs are all only whoop sized, which is just the dumbest thing in the entire world. So the V3 system has a long ways to go before it can even remotely qualify in my brain as being something worth spending the absurd amounts of money on. So yeah, no time soon. What's this 18 minutes flight time? That's absurd. That sounds like work to me. It also sounds like a rig that's gonna fly like a bag of smashed assholes. Is that a quad? Is there a quad called the DJI FPV Avata? I'm super out of the loop right now. I'm not paying attention to FPV stuff because I'm paying attention to real world stuff. But I'll get back into it. All that being said, I have absolutely no interest in anything that has more than 5 minutes flight time. 5 minutes is the amount of time before the GoPros split up the files. And 5 minutes is also the right amount of flight time, in my opinion, to have good flight performance and a rig that's not obscenely heavy. Anything more than 5 minutes and you're going to sacrifice flight performance, and it's just going to be a nightmare if you're running your footage through real steady, which I do with the cinematic footage. So yeah, 18 minutes is... And also, like, at the end of 5 minutes, I need a break, man. 18 minutes, like, that sounds awful to me. Like that's not something I have any interest in. After 5 minutes, I needed to take a breather and let my eyes look at three-dimensional stuff. Maybe I'm just old. I don't know. But what is that, Veritas? What are you talking about? CMYK says, looking fresh. Yo, this antenna info is super valuable. Thank you. You're certainly welcome. Alec Dvornik says, I went with a Source 1 frame with a SpeedyBee F7 V3 stack with 50 amp AIO and then some Emax 2807s. Also be using a split Firefly 4K that's been collecting dust till now. Very cool. It sounds like a long-ish range rig. Oh, that's a pretty big, well, 2807. I guess that's about right for a long range, because that motor is a little too small for a 7-inch propeller, which is perfect for long range stuff. So that should be interesting. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I hope that I'm wrong about this, but when Mike from GemFan was here, over the course of like 1 week, he had 3 SpeedyBee ESCs die. So do some research on that SpeedyBee V3 stack to make sure that I don't know. My guess is that whoever SpeedyBee has making their ESCs is not one of the good companies. Basically, it's not Acon. So yeah, be super careful, Alec, and do as much research as you can on that SpeedyBee ESC that you're running, because yeah, I have with my own eyes seen SpeedyBee ESCs be completely worthless. And like, Mike wasn't hooking anything up wrong, his soldering was fine, he wasn't flying them extra hard, they were just letting go. And I mean, that's something that we see a lot. ESCs are definitely still the weak link, and with the chip shortage, it seems like quality control has really gone to shit. So be super careful and do a bunch of research before you send that thing out unrecoverable, because yeah, I don't want to see you lose it. Losing a fresh build is a real fucking nightmare. CiottiFPV with a $4.20 PayPal, the Wii number. Thank you so much, CMYK. If you guys don't want to do a super chat because you hate Google or YouTube, they take 30% of super chats, you can head on over to CiottiFPV.com. There's a PayPal button. PayPal doesn't take anything. And then just do what CMYK did and tag me and say, yo, look at your PayPal. Thank you, CMYK. Very cool of you, my friend. Hey, if you guys need graphic design work and you go to anyone other than CMYK FPV, I will fucking cut you. He's an awesome graphic designer and a great human being. Subscribe to him on Instagram if you want to see some serious shit in your Instagram stories. Homeboy is right there with me on the social justice front. He ain't putting up with no shit. No shit going down. Danzo the Terrible says, my head is inside my anus. Why is my video so bad? CiottiFPV, August 22, 2022. Hey, somebody clip that. Somebody, don't everybody clip it, but like one person clip it. First person to type into the chat, I'm gonna clip it. They get to clip it. There, you can do the clippy thing. YouTube stole it from Twitch. I put on my Facebook CiottiFPV page, I put a clip from Wednesday's live stream that's super funny. Somebody do the clip of my head being inside my anus. Bannister Post says, whoa, wait, what? CiottiFPV, I have the TBS Pro 32 HV, but I use True RC and Rapid Fire. What about TBS going bad over time? The Pro 32 HV, what I will say is, that is one of the very few TBS VTXs with some sort of a heat sink on it. So maybe that VTX is not like all of the other TBS VTXs that myself and people who are close to me that I trust have had this experience with. Pretty much all of the other TBS VTXs, which don't have heat sinks, any sort of heat management whatsoever, they're just a PCB with a bunch of chips on them. Unify 5-volt, Unify HV, Pro 32, Pro 32 Nano. I'm sorry, Pro 32 I'm sorry, Nano and the Pro 32 Nano, and there's a couple of others. They don't manage the heat, they manage the heat digitally and they kill their output power, but it seems like they don't do that early enough. And yeah, with those non-heat synced TBS VTXs, it just seems like every single time you plug them in, they lose a little bit of power because they get too hot and they just heat kills electronics. And then eventually they die. Like they're the least reliable of the good VTXs. So yeah, I think you're probably okay, Bannister, because that Pro 32 has those big chunky heat sinks on the top and the bottom. But yeah, I have just had horrible luck with TBS VTXs. They've been the absolute worst, other than like bullshit knockoff ones. I'm looking at you, Mach 3 from RDQ, which they don't make anymore, but AKK made that. AKK VTXs are worse than TBS. But of like the big three VTX manufacturers, Immersion RC, TBS, and Rush, the TBSs are hands down the worst. And yeah, I tried them for a long time, and they're just awful. And I've talked to so many other people that have had the same experience. People that are sponsored by TBS, they love them. Go fucking figure. They get them for free. But yeah, people that are not sponsored by TBS, not all of them, but a lot of folks have had a really, really, really rough time with them. I know that the long range guys seem to have okay luck with them, but they're not crashing hard. They're not, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but an awful lot of people have had a really, really, really hard time with TBS VTXs, myself included. I also think the company is kind of shitty. They do some shitty stuff, and the guy that runs the company is a really big bully and treats people like absolute shit. So yeah, I don't like the company and I don't like their product. So I talk shit about them. You know, if you guys are having a great experience with TBS stuff, that's awesome. I love that for you. But I have not, and I don't support companies that are run by people that are shitheads, in my opinion. So. And I could be wrong. Maybe he's not a shithead, but I've seen him treat people really poorly in the past and very, very, very unfairly. And I remember that kind of shit. So, yeah, if you don't care about that, that's fine. But I do. And I vote with my dollars. So, yeah, I try to buy stuff from companies that are doing good for the world, or at least aren't treating people like shit. So, that's just me, though. You know, nobody else has to live their life the way that I do. It's much more difficult to live your life this way, but in my opinion, it's worth it. But you're allowed to disagree with me. That's totally fine. No One FPV says, this has been perfect for my ADHD so far. It's been keeping me busy, challenged, and entertained pretty much every chance I get to fly. Love that, man. Dusty Joe says, should have just let the hair get long. Haircuts look good, brother. Whoop on. On Whoop Wednesday, that length of my hair is about as long as I can let it go before it really starts to look stupid. If it gets any longer than that, it starts to do this really awful like wave thing, and it just looks terrible. I've tried to like grow it out like full-blown homeless hippie style, and it's just real bad. It just gets real bad. So yeah, that is pretty much the longest that you'll ever see my hair get, because I don't want it to look stupid. It's funny for a while when it starts to get long, but then it just looks stupid. Reading the Wind says, good stuff, brother. Hope the mushiest mush mouth
in the world.
Cinesplore Blub Blub goes, your ears look lower. They are. I pulled them. I've been just, and then it worked. Reading the Wind says, good stuff, brother. Hope everything settles down for you. There we go. I can speak. Thank you, homie. Michael D says, speaking of giving up on the hobby, I've been thinking of putting it on hold. I currently just don't have the time to fly. What about whoops? Michael D, what about shifting over to flying whoops in the house? Take a 10-minute break, fly a couple of whoop batteries. What about that? What about that? Doesn't have to be 5-inch stuff. Doesn't have to be flying outside. Whoops are fun. Get yourself a Mobula 6 ELRS. Put some 0702 30,000 kV tiny whoop motors on it. BT 2.0. You won't believe it. There's also nothing wrong with putting the hobby on hold. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. You're going to love it even more when you come back to it. Life is the priority, right? Like, there are just times where you got to put hobbies on hold and you got to just hit life hard for 12 to 14 hours a day, every single day, to get your shit straight. It's really important to be able to do that. And to have like the self-control to be able to do that. And yeah, as we were talking about on Monday, like life tends to come at you in seasons. If you have to have a season that lasts, who cares? 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, whatever, it doesn't matter. Where you just focus on other stuff, that's amazing. That's a big deal to have the self-control to be able to do that. So if you have to do it, it's not a bad thing, man. That just means you're in control and you're making the right decisions. So, but all that being said, a 10-minute break once a day, every day, to rip some tiny whoops, probably be good for your soul, and you won't feel like you're abandoning FPV. So think about it. But if you can't spare that, or if it's going to become expensive or whatever, right? Like that's on you to make those decisions, and it's strong work to be able to make those decisions, right? Like it's very, very, very strong work to be able to put the fun shit aside and just hammer the not so fun stuff because it's going to pay off down the road. That's kind of what I've been trying my best to do over the last few weeks, and just hammer all this shit that I don't want to be doing. I don't want to be fucking spending an hour and a half, 2 hours a day sanding walls. I hate this shit. But I want to get it done right now so that I don't have to look at this goddamn orange wall anymore because it makes me want to scream. So yeah, the ability to do the things that you don't like to do is a big deal. So congratulate yourself for that. With a whoop battery here and there. Maybe. Maybe not. Either way, it's on you. Whichever decision you make is going to be the right decision. I'll never forget my very first talk therapist ever told me that I'm the only one that, like when I have a decision to make, I'm the only one that has all of the information because I'm me and all of the information has come to me. So I'm the only one that's actually qualified to make that decision. And whatever decision that I make is the right decision because I have taken all of that information that only I have and I've munched it down in my brain and I'm making an educated decision. Where you can sometimes not make a great decision is when you have to make like a snap decision. But even in that scenario, you're being forced to make this decision in that moment. You can't just not make the decision, and the same thing's going to happen. You're going to, as quickly as possible, take all the information that you can and make the best decision that you possibly can. So even if that wasn't the right decision down the road, in the moment, you made the best decision that you possibly could with the information that was available to you. So don't beat yourself up for it. That's been a hard lesson. That's been a hard thing to get over. Anxiety and depression has a very unique way of it makes you second guess and future think and past think, and you look at all these decisions that you made and you're like, man, why was I so stupid? You weren't. You were every single moment that you make a decision, you are the wisest that you've ever been because you're the oldest that you've ever been, right? So every single time that you make a decision, you're making the right decision in that moment. And you gotta just be okay with that. It's hard. It's hard, man. But you do it and you move on. And if it was the wrong decision in the moment, then hopefully you learn a lesson. And in the future, if you're given that exact same opportunity, you'll make a better decision. But there's no way to make all the right decisions all the time. You just have to go for it. And, trust yourself and you make your decisions. Other people are allowed to give you advice, but decisions are yours and yours alone to make. And if you don't trust yourself and you go making decisions from what other people think, those people don't have all the information. And there's a better chance that that'll be a bad decision than the decision that you would have made. Maybe you'll still make the wrong decision, but there's a better chance that you will make the right decision because you're the only one that's got all the info. What do you think of that? No! No! No, no! Lord Henrik says, last night while I was flying, I crashed into a post, impacting only the motor going about 15 miles an hour with a JB F7 V1. There's your problem. So something broke. You broke something. You either broke the flight controller or the ESC. If you haven't, you're going to have to replace them. So if you don't have an extra flight controller or ESC, to be honest, do an order and buy a replacement of each. If you can't afford that, pick one. The flight controller is cheaper. You're going to break your flight controller anyway at some point, so just get the flight controller, pop it in. If it doesn't fix the problem, you've got an extra flight controller. You're going to use it at some point. Wait until you have enough, buy the ESC, swap the ESC, you're good to go. You're going to spend more time trying to figure out which one let go, and you're going to break them anyway. So just pick one, buy the replacement, put it in, and you're 50-50 at this point. My guess is that the ESC went, but man, is it hard to tell. But the ESC is usually what lets go. So yeah. The what you want to remember though is that by hitting a post, like you're not going to hit anything hard enough for the ones and zeros inside of Betaflight to fall out. That it's you know, that's just not it. So it's not, you're not going to fix anything in Betaflight. You're not going to fix anything by updating firmware. You're not going to fix anything by going to 4.3 stable. You smash into something, it's physical damage. The end. Like, period. There's no other way. And yeah, unfortunately, physical damage is really hard to see, and those last two beeps are an indication that the flight controller and the ESC are not talking to one another, and it's hard to physically see. I mean, if you get your 5X loop and you really look at every single little component and every single little solder joint on the flight controller and the ESC, you might be able to figure out where the problem is. Or buy the fucking flight controller. You're gonna blow it up anyway. You're gonna use it. Drop it in there. It's a lot less time than completely tearing apart the entire rig. Swapping the flight controller is much easier than swapping the ESC. So get another flight controller, drop it in there. If it fixes the problem, awesome. If it doesn't fix the problem, you've got a spare, and then you got to do the more pain in the ass repair, which is swapping the ESC. So that's kind of my approach. Some people might not like that approach, but to me, that's the approach that's going to save you the most amount of time, and it's going to potentially give you a spare, which is really nice to have. My God, is it nice to have spare components in your house, so that when you come home from destroying something, you can fix it that night and not go to bed like fucking expensive ass CMYK says, can you recommend a resource for learning flight controller and ESC board components and their functions? Not really. But if you can, I would love to hear it. Maybe Mads Tech. So you know, it's going to be somebody with one of the fancy microscope flip flop hot air station things. I don't know anybody though. I just don't know. I also kind of don't care to know. I don't want to spend my time learning what every single little chip is. I know what the gyro looks like and says on it. It'll say MPU 6000 on it, or ICM, whatever. The 5-volt regulators, I think I know what they look like. I certainly know what happens when they fail. Yeah, you're gonna look for people doing chat. There are FPV people that do hot air station repairs with the fancy microscope things. Who are they? I forget who they are. I've watched a couple of them, and I'm like, ooh, that's cool. But then I just take a step back and I go like, wait, is this the rabbit hole that I want to go down? Is this how I want to spend my time? And I decided that it's not. I want to focus on different stuff. That's just me. That you know, if you get a kick and you have the time, kick out of and have the time to dive into that, that's awesome. I don't. I'm putting my time into things other than that, so I don't have any great resources, unfortunately. But I know there are some folks out there that are doing it. Doesn't Cyclone FPV do that sometimes? He might be one of the guys. I've seen Mads Tech do it. He's just great, regardless, though. So yeah, there you go. Good question. Michael D says you should look up the DJI Avata and witness the horrible design. The battery body is blocking a third of each prop, probably why it only gets 18 minutes flight. Okay, so that must be the little Cinewoop then, right? Yeah, that thing looks terrible. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll allow non-FPV people to have a little bit more of the FPV experience and ruin the hobby for all of us. Yeah, that thing, I've not been impressed by the leaked pictures that I've seen of it. Athix says SpeedyB equals SpeedX. I have no idea. I doubt that it's the same company, but maybe SpeedX makes their stuff. I don't know, though. I do not know. I doubt it. SpeedX makes good stuff, and the SpeedyB stuff seems to be... man, I couldn't believe how many of those ESCs like blew up. SpeedX stuff does not have that bad of a quality control issue. Ola FPV says, question for you. I got a 2.5-inch Carva X and my frame broke. I want to get a Gep RC Phantom frame, put all the parts from the Larva X on it. What do you think? I don't know anything about the Larva X or the Gep RC Phantom. If you find a bunch of info that says that the Gep RC Phantom frame is better than the Larva X frame, definitely do it. Definitely make sure that the components are all the right size, right? Like, make sure that if the Larva X has a Whoop AIO, that a Whoop AIO will fit in the Gep RC Phantom. Or if it's 20 by 20, make sure that the Phantom will do 20 by 20. Other than that, yeah, I mean, if the Phantom frame is known to be a better option than the Larva X, definitely do it. All that being said, keep looking. Gep RC seems to make some decent stuff, but there's a lot of good stuff out there. My personal favorite frame developer designer at the moment is FPV Cycle. In my opinion, they have the best frames out there in a lot of different cases. Cinewoop, 5-inch freestyle rigs, stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of different frames out there. Do a bunch of research and away you go. All that being said, it does take you a while to find the perfect frame for you. The perfect frame for me is not the perfect frame for you. You have different requirements, you fly differently, so there is going to be an element of trying 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, or if you're me, 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 different frames in each prop size to find the one that suits your needs the best. So that's just a part of it. It's some people love it, some people hate that aspect of it. I'm somewhere in the middle. Sometimes I like it, sometimes it annoys me. Jay Drone says my favorite was when you were talking about taking the sticky shit off your new GoPro and you're making those strange ass noises. Can you do that again, please? I don't remember that. Taking the sticky shit off your new GoPro. The 10? Did the 10 have sticky shit on it? You gotta find that stream and clip it. I don't know what. I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. To be honest. Lord Henrik says, can you ask the folks if anyone uses a T-Motor F7 and does it have OSD for analog? If the T-Motor F7 does not have OSD for analog, I will eat this microphone. Nobody makes flight controllers right now that don't have OSD for analog. So yeah, I'll go ahead and guarantee you that the T-Motor F7 has OSD for analog. I have nothing to back that up other than the fact that, yeah, it just does. If a manufacturer is making a flight controller today that doesn't have OSD for analog, every single person in the company is high on crack, straight up. And I know a couple of the people over at T-Motor, and they're not high on crack, so you're safe. Bannister Post, for some reason it didn't light up an... Oh, you put 3 T's. It didn't light up an orange because you put 3 T's. CiotTTI. He says, I'm impressed with the Pro 32 HV, but I'm thinking that that Foxier 2.5 watt, what do you think of it for mountain surfing or swap out to the TBS one? Bannister, don't listen to me when it comes to mountain surfing. I have absolutely no personal info on long range stuff. Head over to Facebook and join Long Range Hooligans. It's the Facebook group where all of the best long range folks hang out. Also in the chat, Remy Tim has done a ton of long range stuff, and he knows what's what. For me, 500 milliwatts is plenty, which is why I love the Immersion RC Tramps. They're very lightweight, they're very durable. And yeah, 500 milliwatts is plenty. 2.5 watts, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just a whole bunch of extra added weight. I have no idea about Foxier VTXs. So yeah, I'm not the guy to ask, unfortunately, but Long Range Hooligans will get you your answer. Athix clipped it. Very cool. Thank you, brother. Jay Drone says, was the Pro 32 that... So, here's the other thing I will mention. If I remember correctly, the Pro 32 HV is MMCX, and I hate MMCX. So, you'll never see me running a Pro 32 HV, but yeah, that's just a personal preference thing. Jay Drone says, was the Pro 32 that had 2 separate PCBs and the plug header that kept coming loose? Mine sucked balls. Ishin Nano for life. I don't think so, Jay Drones. The Pro 32 Nano, they would just fail. They would just fail after like 15 or 20 batteries. I had 2 of them do that, and then I talked to a couple of people that had the same experience, and I was like, nope, done, bye-bye. The Ishin Nanos for 1/3 of the price have been completely bulletproof. So yeah, they're... yeah. Michael D says, all I fly are whoops. All right, fair enough, Michael D. You do you, brother. Trust yourself. You have all the info. Make the decision. Stand by it. But, you know, also don't like, oh, I made this decision. It has to be forever. Like, you're allowed to make a decision, then double back. It's all good. YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. R-Dodd says, I got a 75mm frame and 25,000 kV Aeolus motors showing up tomorrow. I'm pumped for the power whoop. I would do 30,000 kV, but they were sold out. Oh, that sucks. Ooh, I hope they get some more. Man, the 30,000 kV motors are good. Bob Noxious says, what's up, collective? Hope you're continuing to recover, Bob. Hope you're had a good week. CMYK says, might be something on the lens, seeing it on my TV and laptop. There is probably dust all over the lens. Let's get this going here. Get this wiped off. Hopefully that's better. Alright, maybe that'll be a little bit better. Hey! You know what I said we were going to do tonight? We're going to open up these last 2 FPV crates. Jesus, it's 8:30 already. So I guess we'll start to repair this, but let's open these up and unbox a couple of the last two FPV crates here, because they disappeared during the move, and then I found them, and it's bad enough that I took forever to get them going. Here's the sticker sheet. It's water themed. There you go. Not like you can get, I mean, I guess this doesn't matter. You can't get this crate anymore, so we're just going to open it up for the hell of it. I don't really need to, like, go crazy showing you guys what's in here. We've got 3 sets of the Gem Fan Stick Bang props. Very, very cool. I've been running these. I really dig them. They are 4.9 inch and 43 pitch. This is very cool. I will throw these into my flight bag because I've been flying these on pretty much everything lately. Oh, very cool. I told them to include this. This is pretty rad. Yeah, this is one of the little adapters that I use on my JB F7 board. This is just great to have. It's a balance lead. It's a 6S balance lead, and then 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S, 6S. Just super handy to have around, and it's got the cool rainbow wires, which I love. I'm going to be using that as well. We've got a Xylo V2 stack. This is a 45 amp. What? Xylo stacks V2 45 amp F. Oh, right. Oh, Jesus. This is a BL Heli 32 F4 processor, 4-in-1 ESC. Wow. Those are some, that's an expensive ESC. Very cool. The 32-bit ESCs that have the F4 processors on board are typically really expensive. How on earth did they afford to get this in here? That's pretty cool. There we go with that. And then we got a little bit of t-shirt action. Let's see what it is. Ooh, that's a cool one. Are you kidding me? Look at that. That's one of the best t-shirts they've had. Miami Vice style with the quad up in the air. Damn, dude, I like this t-shirt a lot. I ain't giving this one away. I'm going to be wearing that one on the next live stream. Very cool. And then we've got the sub 250 box in here. Not their normal, super expensive but gorgeous box, but that's okay. We got some more water-themed. Hey, I also told them about these props. That's pretty cool. These are the old school Gem Fan 3035s. These are some of the best 3-inch props ever made. They're a little bit fragile. They're really well balanced, and they're a good pitch. They're a 35 pitch. I really like these propellers. They are hard to find though. I wonder how they got their hands on enough of these to put them in the boxes. This is pretty slick. I have a little secret stash of these actually, and I typically don't fly them because I don't want them to run out. And then we've got a BL Heli S 30 amp 20x20 ESC. Very cool. Ooh, this is an Axis Power ESC. Look at that. That's pretty slick. I'm probably going to use this because, oh, I recognize that. This is a rebranded, I know what ESC this is. Interesting. I think I know what ESC this is. I am going to use that ESC though. So that's pretty cool. There's the sub 250 box. I don't even know what month this is from. The coupon code was summer. It doesn't tell me what, expires 7/31/2022. So this is the July box, I believe. Right? Not that it really matters. I'm sad that FPVCrate couldn't hack it, but man, am I not surprised. When their cost doubled and damn near tripled, what are you gonna do? Like, how are you gonna run a subscription box when your cost almost triples? Like, FPV boxes just don't work. Their subscription boxes just don't work like that. This box here, I opened at my lap. We've got some J40 HQ props. I'm not a fan of the J series of propeller. They have sacrificed durability for ultra lightweight. And basically my experience with these J props is that every single time you crash, the propellers bend up something awful, and you can either not fly your rig home, or if you do fly it home, the motors are boiling hot when you get it home. So yeah, not my favorite props, but if you don't crash a lot, the J series of HQ props are going to give you really good flight performance because they are very, very, very lightweight. So I'm going to put those aside. I am going to be doing some prop testing sooner than later. Ooh, this is a dope sticker sheet. This is an F1 inspired sticker sheet, probably a la Johnny FPV getting the F1 gig. This is a really cool sticker sheet. I'm actually going to use these stickers. Right, we've got a very cool one of these big old fancy cell checkers. Ooh, that is slick. Cell meter, so you can change the battery type from LiPo to LiFe, lithium ion, nickel metal hydride, NiCad. Why? Why can you do that? It's just a cell checker, isn't it? Interesting. This seems pretty cool. I don't know why it... I don't know. I'll try it, and I'll let you guys know what's up. T-Motor F411 Lite Flight Controller. This is the T-Motor Velox F411. What do we got here? F4 processor, BMI 270 gyro, OSD. Pretty standard specs. Drilled for 30x30 or 20x20, which is pretty slick. Digging that. And then we got another shirt. Let's see what it is. Oh yeah, more F1 themed shit. Bring it the fuck on. Fly to survive, and we've got like an F1 car with basically props in the corners. It says 2022 Lumineer FPVCrate. This is slick. I'm keeping this one as well. Yeah. Man, the last two boxes had two of my favorite t-shirts ever. So that's the 5-inch box. Box is still falling over there. And here's the sub 250 box. It is 8:37 in 20-ish minutes. You guys are gonna switch over and get some bot grinder up in your eyeballs. Small version of the sticker sheet, of course. And we've got, I'm not going to do this out of order. What are these? Oh, okay. I thought this was something different. So this is a 90 millimeter. What's 90 millimeter? Is that 3.5 inch, I think, right? 90. Oh, God. Oh, boy. What's happened here? Oh, boy. Yeah, 3.5 inches. So this is a HQ 3.5 inch tri-bladed Cinewhoop prop. I don't have anything that's 3.5 inches, but I'll probably hang on to these. Interesting blade profile. It would appear that HQ has finally maybe hired someone that knows aerodynamics to work on their blade profiles, because this is actually a blade profile that looks like it wasn't designed by a 4th grader. There's actually some action going on here, so that's pretty slick. Maybe HQ will start making more efficient, more thrusty props like GemFan. That would kind of be cool. The more good prop options, the better, right? Very cool. Man, this is a pitchy prop. It's a big blade and there's a bunch of pitch on it. So these props will probably make a good amount of thrust. That is a good thing there. I'm gonna hang on to them. And then the last thing in here, we've got an Axis F411 flight controller to match up with that Axis ESC. So that's pretty slick. I just want to take a really quick look at it. And whoa, that is small. Wow, I gotta show you guys this. That is a very, very small flight controller. I have never seen one this little before. Look at this. Look how little that is, friends. That's a 20x20 flight controller, where they're not using all the real estate. Usually 20x20 stuff, they use more real estate than the mounting holes. Not this one, man. Jesus, they packed everything on into there. I guess it makes sense that it's only an F4. If it was an F7, they probably wouldn't be able to fit the flight controller on there. This is pretty slick, man. This would be dope for a really lightweight 20x20 stack build. Maybe that's what I'll do with this with this flight controller and that Axis ESC. Pretty slick. Good stuff. I hate to say it, but rest in peace, FPVCrate. This is the end of the FPVCrate content here on this channel. Unfortunately, their website shut down, and they're not doing the subscription boxes anymore. Man, they had a good run. They were hands down the best of the subscription crates. They lasted the longest. In my opinion, they had the best stuff, and yeah, they had a good run. Maybe if the prices come down under control at some point here, they will come back. But I don't know. I have a feeling that it ain't. I don't feel like the pricing is going to come back down. Maybe once all these foundries are up and running or whatever, and the chip shortage is a thing of the past. But I have a funny feeling that now that the prices are high, they're going to stay high. And maybe the people making this stuff are actually going to make a couple dollars for a change. So, let me get caught up on chat here, and then we'll do a little bit of work on the glide. Michael D says, "Dude, thank you. Thinking of it that way, I don't feel as bad or feel like I'm giving up on trying." Yeah, no such thing, Michael. No such thing, man. Life kicks our ass sometimes. Life is kind to us sometimes. When life is kicking our ass, we got to do the hard thing and be adults. You know, it sucks, but yeah, just got to do it sometimes. Athix says, Bob Noxious, send a Ciotti clip to you. I think the clip from the thing in the place. Huckleberry says, you have an You have an infamous white pixely looking thingy. It was on the wall in Studio 2 and now it's hovering around your right eye cheek area. Where? What? What? Right? Is it the reflection from this light? Is that what you're talking about? There is a direct reflection from this light here. Is that what you're talking about? There's also a direct reflection in my eye. Is that what you're talking about? Cole Powers says Louis Rossman is one of those board repair guys. Very cool. So there you guys go, Louis Rossman. Cole Powers, what's the name of the YouTube channel? Is it just Louis Rossman? John Goblin says T-Motor makes 2 FCs. The DJI Plug 1 doesn't have OSD. Are you kidding me? What? I guess I'm gonna have to eat this microphone. It's too big. I'll work on it. I'll cut it up into smaller pieces. Sort of ate it, right? What? That's absurd. That's absurd. Jay Jones says the screen protector. Wait, no, hold on. Okay, there we go. The screen protector's off your GoPro 8. You were taking. Oh, right. Yeah, go back and clip that. I don't have anything that I can peel. Next time I buy something new though, and I can peel something off of it, I'll. If you remind me, I'll do the thing in the place. My God, everything is just covered in dust. Absolutely everything. This brand new USB hub is now covered in dust. My whole life is covered in dust right now. Lord Henrik's... hold on. YouTube just did the thing again. Lord Henrik says, I ordered a T-Motor F7 from Amazon and they use the same title and description for the DJI version, analog version. I'm on the edge of my seat, no lie. Amazon, come on now. Jonathan Lewis says, how is that Acon AIO? It seems to be really good. It's in the 250, which I've put a bunch of batteries through, and it's been completely fine. So yeah, if you're gonna, if you have to get an AIO, get the Acon AIO. But if there's any possible chance to not get an AIO, do that. It's better. But yeah, if you're forced to get an AIO, it certainly seems like the Acon AIO is really the only one that's not a steaming pile of dog shit. Veritas Weezer says, in Velocitron, which drones would you say we should practice with? I'm interested in drones that are currently available for sale that are good. I think like there's a Chameleon in there. I haven't really... The physics aren't good enough that it's going to really matter, I don't think. But whichever rig is closest to what you're flying. I think I have a... I think I use the Chameleon that's in there, though. But they might have something newer. I haven't been paying attention. Lord Henrik says, just in case I ordered one more flight controller today, please tell my wife. Din636 says, hey, nice haircut. Thank you, brother. CMYK says, the Axis flight controller is the one I'm having flyaways with on the Ripsqueak build. Great. Yeah. That's not a good sign. Leonard Erskine says, seems like 3.5-inch Cinewoop is really too big for T-map motors. I agree, but I bet you there is a... Yeah, that just comes from, like, theory, not actual practice. So, yeah, I don't know. You know what I did notice about that Axis flight controller is it doesn't look like it's set up for grommets. So, if it's not set up for grommets and you've got it hard-mounted, that's your problem. Flight controllers really can't be hard-mounted. They have to be on grommets. Cool Coyote says, the white pixel stays in the same spot. It might be dead on your camera sensor. It must be. Wait, is that it? Up here? Is this it? Nope, that's a spot on my monitor. Wait, I think I found it. It's right here, isn't it? Nope, it's on the monitor. Wait, is it up here? Is that it? I'm trying to put my hair over it because my hair is dark. Nope, it's on my monitor. If there was a dead pixel in Studio 2, I'm now using that same camera. That's annoying because this camera does 1080, the other camera does not. So yeah, there's really no fix for that, and I don't think in OBS I can like target that pixel and just make it black. I'd rather I wish when pixels die they would die in black and not white. But yeah, so you guys are saying it's in the left side of my face. Let me make this bigger. Maybe I can see it. Sure it's not like my gray hairs? Sure it's not just me? Oh wait, here it is. Here it is. It's up here, isn't it? It's right there, isn't it? Yep, there it is. There it is. It's right there, right? Yeah, it's a dead pixel. Just think of it as another gray hair. It's right. No, it might be. Cool Coyote says it is right below the thin white trim if you move your head. Oh wait, is it here? Wait, is it there? Is that it? Nope, it's in the monitor. Wait, is it over here? Is this it? Is that it? Nope, it's in the monitor. The monitor is just covered in dust. Hold on, let me do this. Let me wipe the monitor down. That'll make it a lot easier to find. Under the top trim of the shelf. The shelf is long. Where at on the shelf? Top trim of the shelf. Is it? Is that it? Right there? Far right. Great. Over here? Let's not play this game anymore. This is a weird game. Ezekiel1974 says, does an older radio with Express LRS like a Taranis X9D have more latency than a newer radio like the Radio Master TX16X? It kind of depends, Ezekiel, but typically not. Typically not. X9D, as long as it has the... No, yeah, you should be fine. You should be fine. Cool Coyote says, right below the weight trim, we had... But it's good says, glad you buy shit, made me realize my monitor is covered in gunk, too. Corner closest to you. The other problem is I have studio lights blasting me in the face. So it's hard for me to see just about anything. Oh, there it is. There it is. Wait. There it is. I'm putting it in my eyeball. It's right here. I see it. Yeah, it's a dead pixel. Yeah, there it is. That's weird, it just went away. No, I just can't see it. Alright, found it. Nothing I can do about it. So what do you guys want? 1080p with a dead pixel or 720p without a dead pixel? Alright, let's do some work on this glide, then we'll wrap it up so you guys can go enjoy some bot grinder. Move the chat over real quick. We got 9 minutes. Great. Alright, here we go. Here we go. We're gonna take like 3 screws out, and then I'm gonna go, alright, that's enough. We got no more time. Way! Oh my god, everything is covered. Everything. It's all covered in a haze of dust. So, this glide slammed into the side of a building at about 7,000 miles an hour. And the motor number 4 arm broke, and just like I always say, saved the motor. The motor number 3 arm did not break, and the motor died. So if you ever wanted one-to-one perfect example of why I say that I would always rather have a frame with a lighter weight frame with arms that'll break before the motors, here you go. Here's your example. Let's take this motor off as quick as I can here to figure out what the hell broke on this motor, because that'll be a good, like, quick look at Axis Power's motors and their durability. I'm pretty impressed that this motor survived. Not really though, because the arm broke and it took the when the arm breaks, it absorbs a bunch of the energy by braking, and in the process of braking, it slows the transfer of energy down. And yeah. Cold Power says, add a 1 pixel black image to your OBS scene. Well, that's a fucking great idea. But then it'll be black and not white. Here we go! What I'll do is I'll figure out... Well, if you guys are noticing it, then that means that it's in a spot where so it's a white pixel right now. So if you're noticing it, that means that it's like the dark side of my face or whatever. What the fuck is going on here? So yeah, a black pixel will be better than white. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Alright, let's take a super quick look here. These motor screws took some punishment and they are not happy. But we're gonna get them out of here, because that's what we do. Oh man, this one really got scraped up. There we go, that got it in there. So this WEHA driver doesn't fit quite as tight as the MIP driver, and so when the screw heads get mangled, oh, that's interesting. So that's not good. This is the C-clip here, which has come off of the bottom bearing. And what that means is that the shield on the bottom bearing is able to fall off. Luckily, the screw that they use on the bottom is big enough to keep that shield on, but what can happen is that shield can drop down and bind up against this screw on the bottom. Basically, that's just not good. Used to happen in longboarding. Yeah, that ain't good. That does not speak well of the bearings that Axis is using. Could totally be a fluke, but I've actually never seen that before in an FPV motor. It's kind of interesting. This thing is really on here. So let me see if I can... In theory, this stator is still fine. So I'm going to be as gentle as I can. There we go. So we're good here. Let's see what's happening here. Wow, this thing took a hell of a hit. So the O-ring is trying to escape up over the little washer in there, which is not great. You see that? So that's interesting. Let's get this off here. The O-ring looks like it survived though, which is, I mean, it's a little yeah, it's pretty mangled. Alright, so let's see. More than likely the motor shaft is bent, and one of the ways that you can tell is to just put it on the stator a little bit here and spin it. Oh, wow, it is bent. That is very bent. Look at the amount. That's exactly what I didn't want to happen. So one of the things you can do to test this is if you have an extra bearing kicking around, just put the motor shaft onto the bearing. I used to have one here, but my desk is a wreck right now. But when I put that onto there, well, you can also do this sometimes. Sometimes it'll clear. You put it on the bottom bearing. There we go. Wow, that's a lot of wobble. That is a lot of wobble. Let's see if I can get this to focus. There we go. Ready? That is a completely wrecked motor shaft. So that is what typically fails on mini quad motors, is the motor shaft bends. All of these motor shafts are made of the same shit grade titanium, so regardless of what motor you buy, the motor shafts are all pretty much the exact same durability. So yeah, this motor bell is completely destroyed. There's really no way to bend that back straight. But in theory, other than that, other than the clip coming off the bottom bearing, the stator is fine. But that clip coming off is not great, because that's going to allow this shield to fall off of here, which is not good. So, and I've tried to put these back on, and my God, is it difficult. So I'm going to take like 15 seconds to try to put this back on, and then I'm just going to give right the hell on up, because this is not a great way to spend your time. And like with how often the motor shafts fail, usually you're going to have some extra stators floating around. So yeah, this is kind of silly to do this. This motor is just pretty much shot. I don't like that this happened. I got to be honest. This is not a great sign that this little guy fell off, but could totally be a one-time only thing. Could be a never. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. And I'm not gonna waste my time doing it. So this stator, I'll punch this top bearing out. Although this top bearing is probably ruined. I'm just gonna throw this stator away. The bottom bearing is probably screwed from that C-clip coming off. The top bearing is probably screwed from the amount of impact that it took from this, and yeah, it's whatever. So this is getting thrown away. This motor, I save all my blown up motor bells because I'm gonna make a sculpture with them someday. That brings us to 8:59, friends. Time to go watch some bot grinder, and I'm gonna maybe do a little bit more sanding. Veritas Weasel says, dude, what the hell are you doing? The video looks great. Back to drones. What? The video looks great. What video looks great? What? What's happening, Veritas Weasel? The Dead Pixel Ads character. He also says the Dead Pixel Ads character. It's like your own personal watermark. Someone steals your video, you'll be able to go after them. Nice. All right, friends. And yeah, I have a ton of those extra Access 2306s. So, thanks for hanging, boys and girls. I'll see you again on Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, and then Monday night at 10 o'clock for some giveaways. CiottiFPV.com to support the madness that is trying to make FPV a full-time career. Join my Patreon, click some buttons, follow some affiliate links. It all helps out, and I love you guys so much. Here comes some more flying from Hanging with Ken, filmed vertically. Hopefully it doesn't suck. No promises, though. Be good, boys and girls. I'm going to rotate the... Oh, wait, no. Is this... Did I not film this vertical? I did film this vertical. Let me get you some music here. And there we go. All right, guys. See you Sunday. Be good. Later.